Good evening, dear friends. It's no secret that our head is the home of our brain, so we need to take care of our brain's condition using every possible method. As it has become known, the blood supply to the brain is provided by several arteries. These are the vertebral artery and the common carotid artery, which splits into the external and internal carotid arteries. And all of this, the entire connection between our brain and the rest of the body, happens through the neck. So, I don't need to tell you how important your neck is in your life. That's why we need to create conditions for the blood supply to our brain that are as close to ideal or practically ideal as possible. Does the position of the head affect how blood flows to the head and how it drains away from the head? I'm asking you a question. Answer in the comments, do you think the position of the neck affects this? If you answered yes, keep watching this video. If you answered no, turn it off and leave. You are not yet ready to perceive this information, because now we are going to restore the correct position of the neck, which will determine how your brain will be supplied with blood in the coming years for your whole life. On how much? Watch this video carefully, leave good comments and do the exercise as well. The exercises are most important. It will depend on how your brain preserves its function. But not only that, everything that's here in your head, your eyes, your sense organs, basically everything. And your eyes, taste organs, tongue, your ears. All of this will depend, all of this depends on blood supply, on how well it all works. And now, right before your eyes, we will create the conditions for the maximum possible blood supply to your brain specifically for you. We'll improve inflow and outflow and do everything possible to achieve this. So friends here. In this picture, there are 3 friends, each with a different situation. The stronger muscle is marked in red. The muscle that is a bit weaker and longer is marked in blue. This is the most favorable situation. Here we can see that the muscles on the back of the neck, we will divide them into groups. We will have them. The muscle groups are as follows: the muscles of the back of the neck, the muscles of the front of the neck, and the lateral muscles, right and left. Here we can see that the posterior muscles are stronger than the anterior ones. And this allows the head to be kept in the most optimal position. Optimal for what? For the blood supply to the brain through the vertebral artery system, right here in the vertebral artery canal, which is located inside the transverse processes of the vertebrae. It passes through its own canal. It makes a bend at the level of the first cervical vertebra and enters right here into the cranial cavity through this occipital foramen, the large occipital foramen, and there it directly takes part in supplying blood to the brain. The common carotid artery does this as well, but it doesn't pass through these canals. Right now we're interested in the vertebral artery. So here's the second case. Here we have it. As you can see, the muscles on the front surface of the neck have become stronger and they have become shorter than the muscles in the back. Why is this bad? Well, so what if the neck bends like this, right? It will bend like this. Here, the curve of a proper neck is called lordosis, like this, but it will become kyphosis. Why not? You might ask, why not kyphosis? The thing is, with this position of the neck, when you move your neck or turn it, there will be excessive mobility at the wrong angle between the cervical vertebrae. And the vertebral artery itself will start to get irritated in its own canal. It will start to get compressed but not enough to completely close its lumen, and the irritation of the artery itself will cause a reflex spasm. Plus, there's a vein next to the artery and it will get compressed very easily. The outflow will be disrupted. If the outflow is disrupted, there will be, well, not an increase in intracranial pressure, of course, but a kind of congestion that will occur. It will already be difficult for new blood to get into the head because the old blood doesn't leave well. Also, in this position of the neck, when its position has changed, its curve has changed, there will be constant tension in these suboccipital muscles. And the place where the vertebral artery makes a bend is one of the most common places where it gets compressed, pinched and irritated, along with the occipital nerve. And it is exactly in this place that a constant spasm will occur, because you will still want to look forward. But these long muscles, the long extensors of the neck, don't allow you to fully lift your head. So the movement happens only right here. Here in the upper part of the neck, there is excessive hyperextension. That's where it happens. And the neck muscles. In this part, there are short extensors. There are long muscles and there are short ones. These short extensors are constantly under tension, in addition to causing impaired blood flow to and from the head. This also causes chronic headaches. The third situation is when we have different muscles on the right and left side. Here it's a bit more complicated. It would seem that you need to train what's in the back and stretch what's in the front. Here, that's actually true, but it's a little different. We'll solve all of this together right now. All these notches, these problems. If you recognize yourself in any of the photos, please let us know in the comments. So, friends, what should we do? In this situation, we need to tone and shorten the muscles at the back of the neck and stretch the front ones. By the way, such people, on the contrary, develop a pathological desire to stretch their neck because they feel tension in this area. Right here they feel tension and they want to stretch it specifically. But when they try to stretch this area, and they usually try to stretch it like this, most often pulling it forward like this, they feel relief for a while. But at the same time, along with these short muscles, the long neck extensors are also being stretched, and it causes them to bend forward even more. What should you do? To relieve the spasm in this area, we need to do it more strongly. These muscles right here, like this. But at the same time, over many years of being in this position, the ligament apparatus has stretched. The ligaments that are located right here, between the vertebrae, between the joints, these articular processes have stretched. And that's why the neck can't take the correct position. What should you do? How can you restore its former greatness? So, look what we're going to do. Besides the fact that mobility has increased here, which means it has to decrease somewhere else. It decreases right here. A restriction of mobility appears in this part of the spine, swelling develops here, and some people even grow a hump here. To restore the correct position of the neck, you need to return this. It's not here for no reason. We'll come back to this as well. You need to restore the correct position of the head, mobility right here in the upper part of the thoracic spine. How are we going to restore it? Look, we take a pillow like this and we put it on the same kind of pillow. So there should be two of them. As the attentive viewer may have already guessed, you lie down here, face down, just like this. You lie down, and what do you do next?
You just lie down and relax just like you like to. Don't do anything, just lie there. And in this position, what happens to us? The upper part of the thoracic spine extends.
Like this. Here you have There is a usual position of the neck like this. The neck has become hypermobile. In some parts it moves better, in others worse. And this is the upper part of the thoracic spine. It's almost immobile. To restore mobility, so you will lie down like this, and you see your thoracic spine will extend like this, specifically in this upper part. When you lie here, this mobility will gradually return to you, and you will be able to extend. Where you need it, in the right spot, you can adjust the height. For those whose neck is shifted forward a lot, you might need double pillows like these. That might even be too much.
So you can try with just one. Just lie down on one like this. That's also good. You can feel it too. And lie in this position for a while. If you don't feel anything, then use two. Hand position doesn't matter. Use whatever's comfortable. You can do it this way. So your neck will gradually start to take the correct position.
Between your shoulder blades, you might feel a slight tension during this exercise, and that's normal. So this is the first thing you should do, tail carotch. Now, the second exercise is not only to tone this muscle again, tail carotch, but also to make the ligaments shorter again, so that the curve in your neck returns, the one that should be there. For this exercise, you'll need a wall and an orange towel. Fold it four times so that it's soft enough. The towel is small. You stand with your back to the wall. You place the towel between the back of your head like this and the wall. This is mainly for comfort. It's not recommended to do it without the towel. Now take a small step forward with your feet so that you're only leaning on your head. Here, the position of your head is very important. You shouldn't press your chin in like this, and you shouldn't tilt your head back too much. Your head should be in a natural position like this. Well, lift your chin up a little because you're used to holding it like this. And right here like this, the farther you move away from the wall, the more strain there will be on your neck muscles. And try to keep your shoulder blades as far from the wall as possible. And in this position, you just need to stand still for a bit. If you've never trained your neck before, don't move too far away from the wall. There you go, you can already feel something tensing up somewhere. The main tension you will feel is not in your neck, although if you touch your neck with your hands, it will be tense. But the main load will be on the lower part of the neck extensor. You will also feel these are neck muscles. The thing is, they start from here. From here, the neck muscles go like this. And it's this part that gets really weak. And that's exactly where you'll feel the main tension. That's very good. It's not recommended to do this exercise without something soft between your head and the wall, because your head is hard, the wall is hard. Plus, your heads aren't exactly spherical. Many people have a slight curve. Some have it curved one way, some the other way. So, it's not recommended to do it like this. Here, put it again. You do this for softness like this. There, one. And that's it. And you stand like this. To start, well, try it for about 20 seconds against the wall, then step away. If everything is fine, gradually, you can increase it, well, 30 seconds later, and slowly you can bring it up to a minute. But you don't need to do more than that. Then, in this position, stop feeling the muscle tension. When you no longer feel it, it means they've more or less returned to a normal state. We were putting a load on the back muscles of the neck. When is it not allowed to do this exercise? In this case, if you started doing this exercise, you stood in front of the mirror. It's best to do it that way. Or, for example, have someone record you on video when you're doing it for the first time. So you stood up. And if when you're doing it, you notice this kind of crooked position, that is when your head is shifted to one side or the other like this, you shouldn't do this yet. You need to separately train either the right or the left side, because under load, when one side of your body starts to take on more of the strain like this, you see, then this exercise isn't for you yet. What should you do in this case? You started doing it and notice that, for example, when you go to this side, you start tilting like this over here to this side. This means the right muscles are stronger while the left are weaker. And there's also an exercise for you. Thank you. Notice that your head tilts to the right and the distance between your right shoulder and your right ear becomes smaller. If your head shifted this way, you lie down on your right side, and in this position just lie still and hold your head for 30 seconds. Then rest and repeat this for 2 or 3 more sets. Then you can try the previous exercise again. It might go better this time. And now you can work on the muscles right here in the front. Stretch them out. If we just tilt our head to the side, the muscle that lifts the scapula will stretch more on both sides. If we grab onto something with our hands like this, hold on and fix our shoulder, then tilt the trapezius, and the muscle that lifts the scapula will stretch, but we need to stretch the scalene muscles, because a short muscle that lifts the scapula won't let the scalene muscles stretch. So, how do we stretch them? For this, on the contrary, you support yourself with your hand and slightly raise your shoulder up a little. Let me show you on this side so you can see it. That is, you don't fix your shoulder, but instead you raise it a little like this. But not by using your muscles, rather, you need to lean on something. For example, if you're sitting in a chair, you can use the armrest like this, just lean on it. Or you can use your hand so that your shoulder lifts up a little. And now, tilt to the side like this. Now the muscle lifting your shoulder blade no longer gets in your way, and you'll feel more tension, specifically in the scalene muscles. Right now, the middle scalene muscle will stretch more. If you need to stretch the anterior one, just lift your head up a bit and start tilting. Here, the anterior scalene muscle will stretch more. Just like this, right here. But at the same time, your hand should be resting on something. Because if your shoulder doesn't rise, then a different muscle will be stretched, which you actually can stretch in this case. Here we were training the left one with you, and you can stretch the right one. And here as well. You can also pull first with your shoulder fixed. Here, our trapezius muscle and the levator scapulae muscle will be stretched. You can slightly turn your head to one side or the other, and different parts of the muscle will be stretched. And if you slightly raise your shoulder or rest it on an armrest, then when you lean, the stretch will be even greater. The scalene muscle, either the anterior or the middle one, depends on the position of your head. If you look straight ahead, it's the middle one. If you slightly raise your head, the anterior one will be stretched more. That's how it is. Thoughts? Someone who wasn't lazy and tried this exercise might have noticed that it feels like they've grown a couple of centimeters taller because their head tilted back a little, right here. So what do you think? Try it, leave a comment, write what you think, how you liked it. See you in the next episode.